Have you ever felt like there's a unique spark within you just waiting to shine? You're not alone. At the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe that everyone has the potential to transform their lives with practical spirituality. Picture this: a supportive community where everyone is striving for a deeper spiritual connection. Imagine workshops that inspire, classes that enlighten, and a welcoming community that affirms who you truly are. We like to think of ourselves as your spiritual gym. Just like physical wellness requires practice and dedication, so does spiritual wellness. Our empowering principles are designed for daily use, helping you make meaningful changes in your life. It's all about changing your mind to change your life. Sounds simple, right? Whether you're looking to unlock your potential, find clarity, or simply connect with like-minded individuals, the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont is the place to be. We're open and affirming to all because we believe that everyone deserves a chance to shine. So, are you ready to step into a more empowered version of yourself? Join us at the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. Welcome to those online and in person. First-time guests, welcome. Please pick up a blue welcome packet in the back. After service, we will have a fellowship and meal in Carter Hall. Please consider staying after service. And please take a moment to assure us and yourselves that your cell phone is silent. So let's read our vision statement together. CSLB is an inclusive and transformative community of spiritual practice. So now we are going to do the candles of faith. I'd like to invite my beloved Reverend Michael to assist me with the candles of faith. We perform the Flames of Faith ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The Unity Candle represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We honor and light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, acknowledging all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here. And our healing candle puts in the names of loved ones, knowing that they all have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. So thank you so much for helping with lighting of the flames. Now, shall we start our opening song?
I don't need you to sell me on reasons to want you. I don't need you to search for the proof that I should. You don't have to convince me. You don't have to be scared you're not enough. 'Cause what we've got going is good. I don't need more reminders of all that's been broken. I don't need you to fix what I'd rather forget. Clear the slate and start over. Try to quiet the noises in your head. We can't compete with all that. So what if it's us? What if it's us and only us? And what came before won't count anymore or matter. Can we try that? What if it's you? And what if it's me? And what if that's all that we needed to be? And the rest of the world falls away. What do you say?
I never thought there'd be someone like you who would want me.
Well,
So I give you 10,000 reasons to not let me go. But if you really see me, if you like me for me and nothing else, well, that's all that I've wanted for longer than you could possibly know. So it can be us, it can be us, and only us. And what came before won't count anymore or matter. We can try that, it's not so impossible. Nobody else but the two of us here, 'cause you're saying it's possible.
we can just watch the whole world disappear.
Till you're the only one I still know how to see. It's just you and me.
It'll be us, and only us. And what came before won't count anymore.
We can try that. You and me. That's all that we needed to be. And the rest of the world falls away. And the rest of the world falls away. The world falls away. The world falls away. And it's only us.
Day of the month at CSLB, we honor and recognize those who have a birthday this month. So anyone having a birthday in the month of August, if you would raise your hand, okay. And we will sing a song for you. We're going to welcome you in with happy birthday. And we have a practitioner gift card for you, which is in my office, but I'll get that for you later. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John Colton. Happy birthday to you. And you know, I like to say, hey. And I like to say in Science of Mind, I think in our consciousness of Science of Mind, happy continuation day, right? Happy continuation day, because it's always about continuing, new journeys unfolding, new adventures ahead, and new awareness. So happy continuation day. It's Volunteer of the Month. First Sunday of the month, it's Volunteer of the Month, and this was supposed to be a surprise. Very hard keeping surprises around here. Ross pulled in, it's Ross, my husband Ross is being honored, and Ross pulled in, I think, Wednesday, and his name was on the Volunteer of the Month spot. And he said, my name's on it. I said, yeah, that was supposed to be a surprise, so almost a surprise. But Ross is fairly new here, and it says, this was written, I think, by Marcia, a welcome addition to our CSLB family. If you haven't met Ross yet, then join us for fellowship. You get to chat with Ross at lunch and after service, so he loves connecting with people. He really is one who brings food to this center. He does a lot of cooking. He made homemade chili last night and cornbread, so he's always making sure there's plenty of food out there for the Sunday fellowship meal. And he shared his chili recipe online. Ross is on the event planning committee, so he's a member of the planning committee. He brings new and welcome ideas to CSLB. He's worked with the rest of the event team to bring us recently Christmas in July, and also we did Divine Dining yesterday in Idlewild. So all of these things going on at the center. So we honor Ross this month. Thank you, Ross, for all you do. Thank you very much. Rainbow Alliance today is presenting Esteemable Acts Seminar, and it's always about, in Science of Mind and as a practitioner, giving the person back to themselves, and we give the person back to themselves by first doing the work on ourselves. And no, we don't have to be perfect. We're just making progress in that area. And then we remind you of how valuable and worthwhile a human being you are. And so that's the Esteemable Acts. Francine Ward is joining us today for Esteemable Acts. She'll be presenting that. She's written a book. The books will be on sale. It will be a love offering of $15, and it will be held here in the sanctuary after lunch from 12 to 1:30. Talk about her life journey, and we'll have Q&A afterwards. Good Grief continues on Thursdays. 1 to 2:30 every Thursday in the sanctuary. Joel Goldsmith continues at Yvonne Fowler's house. It's happening this Thursday? It is. Will happen this Thursday at Yvonne Fowler's house. And the time on that, Yvonne?
4 to 5:30.
4 to 5:30. Yes, 4 to 5:30. Movie night, second Wednesday. We've got our second Wednesday coming up here. The movie this month will be Disney's Up. Our metaphysical movie will be Disney's Up, and we'll be talking about that in metaphysical terms. And Neil and I will be co-facilitating an advanced consciousness studies. It used to be called Practitioner Studies, now Advanced Consciousness Studies. If you are interested, that'll start in September. Come talk to Neil and myself. We need to check a few prerequisites to make sure you're qualified. It's a great journey into learning about yourself. And you can do it for learning about yourself and not becoming a practitioner. So you can take it just for self-growth, not that you go on to practitionerhood. So those are the announcements for today. Thank you.
So, if I didn't say good morning, let me do that right now. Good morning. I am Tommy Jones, and I'm one of your licensed practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Beaumont. The other practitioners and I will be over here after service to provide you prayer if you need it. Please do not leave here this morning with anything on your heart, because we would love to pray with you, because we absolutely know prayer works. So please, let's go ahead and close our eyes and let the meditative song bring us to our center.
Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Peace, peace fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy.
So this Sunday, I have the privilege of introducing Power Talks. Now, Power Talks is a few minutes that I get to share something with you that may be motivational before I pray us in and before Reverend Michael delivers his magnificent message today. I have a confession. It's been a little while since I have done a Power Talk, so I'm going to ask for a little grace. That being said, I want to talk to you about the two things that I hold above all else: God and Mom. But I want you to think about God and Mom differently than you ever have before. Today, I want you to think of God, G-O-D. Grace opens doors. G-O-D. Getting over doubt. And I want you to think about Mom, M-O-M, as mind over matter. If my mind is right, then it doesn't matter. We all know that God is all there is, and that we live in this abundant universe, and that if God be for us, then nothing can be against us, and that everything we desire, it's looking for us as we're looking for it. We know these principles conceptually. We think about this. We teach you this. These are the principles that we believe in. And you're sitting out there going, but Tommy, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what's really happening for me. In my mind and in my heart, I'm holding on to faith. I'm believing all these things. But what is happening is not exactly what I've been hoping for. It's not what I have been believing in. Something is going wrong. Well, I will tell you, personally, I've been to hell on earth and back. And I'll tell you a couple of things about that. One, you can survive it. You remember a couple weeks back we sang, I will survive? You will. I have. But I will tell you it wasn't easy. It's not really easy. That's why I'm a practitioner, not a necessarily done and finisher, because I have to practice these principles every single day in the face of doubt, in the face of worry, and in the face of concern. And that's why that mind over matter is so important, because it's important about what's in your mind. What is it you're truly, really believing in? Let me tell you a story. I have a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting there and somebody bumps me and my coffee spills. Why did my coffee spill? Was it because somebody bumped me? Well, let me ask you this. If I had tea in there, what would have spilled? It would have been the tea. So the truth is that what spilled is what's inside of me, not what happened to me. So the outpicturing of what you're experiencing now, which may not be the best, is really a matter of tweaking and changing what's in your mind. Going through practitioner training, we had to learn about creating a mental equivalent. The mental equivalent is the inside of you that outpictures what you want. And you're going, but I've never seen what I really, really wanted. How can I do that? I'm going to tell you, I don't know. But somebody had it in their mind they were going to create a chair, and there it is. Somebody had it in their mind they were going to create a building, and here it is. Every single day, each and every one of us creates these little bitty things that we perhaps disregard. We don't really see that we are creating from nothing something every day. And so we have really the opportunity to have our mind create something much different than whatever it is we're experiencing. It may feel great wherever we are, whatever we're doing, so let's keep doing that. It may not feel so good, whatever we're doing. So let's resolve to change our mind. Because what is in our mind matters only as long as we create something that we truly want. We have the ability to turn away from those things that we no longer want or no longer benefit us. We can release that. We have to know that. We have to believe that. We have to trust in ourselves that that is the truth of our being. And so then when we say, well, I believe in this abundant universe, and I believe that God is all there is, then those things that we are trying to manifest truly do demonstrate and become heaven on earth. So I am convinced that grace opens doors. God. I am convinced that we can get over doubt. And I believe that Mom, mind over matter, can help us be where we want to be and do what we want to do. It is Alexander Graham Bell who said that when one door closes, another one opens. I assure you, there is another door. And Ernest Holmes says, no matter what may be in the subjective state of our thought, the conscious state can change it. I believe that too. I leave you with the thought, put God and Mom first, and your world will change. Today, when Reverend Dr. Michael gives his speech, his talk, he is going to talk to us about letting our consciousness sing. So I invite you to let the melody of his words resonate in your mind and in your heart right here, right now. So with that, I'd like to pray us in. I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. Allow the chair that it was created out of nothing support you. Be in this moment knowing that we are here together on sacred ground, that God is all there is, and that with God being all there is, and us being created in the image and likeness, born of Spirit, then we co-create the world in which we live. I know for today that it is a magnificent day, that it has been created for our joy and our pleasure. And so it is our job to show God what a good time we're having, and therefore enable God to have a good time with us. I know that today we come to this meeting place so that we can fellowship with each other, so that we as like-minded beings can raise a vibration here and share it with the world, so that that idea of peace, happiness, and joy can be shared amongst everyone. I am so grateful to be here today, because I know that the words that I speak are touching someone in a place where they need to feel it. I am so grateful to have a message from Spirit that I can share today. I am so grateful to be of service, and that the message that I share will be shared with someone else, as each and every person in this congregation goes out into the world to be of service to someone else. I am so grateful for each person that has helped make this service possible today. And I'm very, very thankful for the message that is unfolding, and knowing that Reverend Michael is bringing us to that place we need to be today, so that we can be our highest and best good as we go out into the world. Knowing these words are the truth, I'm very confident in releasing them into law. And I ask that each person here anchor these words of truth by saying with me, and so it is. Amen, amen, ashe, ashe.
Thank you, Tommy. I want to share that Francine Ward, who did a beautiful meditation this morning, is here at our center for the very first time. And Tommy, I invited you to do a practitioner moment. I love a practitioner power talk. I love that. It gives people an opportunity to grow, but it also supports me in being present with that spirit presence. Francine meditated in, quiet meditation, prayer meditation, that unity, that oneness, that harmony, that heavenly song of spirit's connectivity. And Tommy just spoke very well to that consciousness of God consciousness, G-O-D. I like to see it as God on demand. And so one of the ways we make God on demand is by realizing that we're all connected. We were connected in the meditation this morning. We were connected in Tommy's power talk today, and we're connected right here and now in this moment in the unity of community. In the unity of community. In the unity of community of like-minded beings. In the unity of community of openness and oneness and wholeness. In the openness of community of opening our souls to our hearts and opening our hearts to the world, and letting that love in our soul flow through our hearts and out into the world. My talk title today is Conscious Concerto. And I say our talk title because, and I invite you because and remember during the talk today, because and remember during our talk, that because equals because. Because equals because. Because and remember during our talk today. Because and remember during your walk today, your walk throughout the day. Because and remember today that you are the first, the last, the forever, the always, and in all ways, the first cause. You are the conscious cause. You are the choiceful cause of every creative causation, of every creative emotion, of every creative situation, of every creative expression of love in your life. If it's to be, it's up to me. And what's up to me to be, and what's up to me as you and you as me is to be, is to creatively imagine our life exactly the way we desire to see it and be with it and become it. And that's our talk title today. Our talk title is, let's get the power on here. Our talk title is Conscious Concerto. And we're talking about that seeing and being and becoming of that oneness, that unity, the common unity of community. Our opening song was Just Us. And I chose that, and I like that, and I love that song, and I like to see Just Us. They talked about when the world falls away, and not looking to what was yesterday, but to being present in the here and now of that moment. And I like to see the word us in that song, Just Us, and where it takes me spiritually, where it takes me emotionally, where it takes me in the presence of now, is to seeing us as universal spirit. So that opening song, Just Us, I like to see it as just universal spirit, just universal spirit, universal spirit. That's it, that's all, and nothing else and nothing more. In universal spirit, we are connected in community. We are connected in heaven's harmony. We are connected in the conscious concerto that it's all about seeing, being, and becoming. This teaching, this life experience, this life walk, this life talk, it's all about seeing and being and becoming. And what we're talking about seeing and being and becoming today is becoming, and this is science of mind. This is science of mind. Being the conduit of conductivity. You are the conduit of conductivity. You are the vessel of vitality. You are the vessel of spirit's vitality. You are the creative virtuosity of love's expression in your life. You are the conduit of connectivity, the vessel of vitality, and the creative virtuosity. You get to be a virtuoso. You get to create whatever you desire to create in this life. The creative virtuosity of love's expression in our life, in my life, in your life, as in one life, as one with Spirit's expression of love in our lives. And so that's what we're talking about today, Spirit's expression of love in our lives. And Adrian, I'm going to have you run the slides because the batteries came out of the clicker. So we express, expand, embolden, and embody Spirit's love in our life. That's what we're here to do. That's our life experience. That's what we're doing on this life plane. We are inviting, emboldening, embodying, expressing Spirit's love in our body right here and now. That's that humanity, the divinity within our humanity. The divinity within our humanity, which we learn to compose. How do we compose that divinity within our humanity? How do we compost that? How do we compost that? How do we let that come together in a fermentation? How do we let that spirit energy, how do we learn to conduct that energy? And so when I was in school, film school, we played all the roles. I would write a 5-minute film, and then I would be a cameraman for somebody else's film, and I'd be a director for somebody else's film. Then I'd be the lighting person, taking up the lighting with the Leica light meter and making sure the lighting was good, with the Nagra recorder, making sure the sound was precise, making sure the background sound wasn't overshadowing the foreground sound, making sure the microphones are in the right place for the lead characters. And in one film, I was playing the part. In another student film, I was the actor in a student's film, and I was acting the part of a director, or a conductor in an orchestra. And I started out in the first take by da-da-da-da, 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 and I was feeling the power, but I wasn't being present with the power. I was forcing the power. I wasn't feeling the power. And the director said, no, you're like conducting the orchestra, but when you're doing this, you're stealing the whole scene. And so the people in the foreground that are supposed to be the focus of the scene, when you're doing this, you're stealing the scene. He said, so what I want you to do is to learn to conduct the consciousness of the infinite, not the consciousness of the indefinite. When we're indefinite in our lives, when we're indefinite in our mindset, as Tommy spoke to, when we're indefinite in our intentions, we invite in kind of a warble and a wobble that knocks us off balance. And so the director said to me that I want you to see the baton, and this is a baton. I have one in my office that came from Amazon yesterday, but we'll use this. You know the thing about creative imagineering? There's always something there that'll work. There's always something there that'll work, always. And it's ours to go that which will work rather than that which you left behind, right in that song today. Let the world fall away. You know, the world of perfection. I have a baton. It's gorgeous. It's from Amazon. It's in the office. But let the world fall away and be present with the right here and now today. And so this is my baton. There's always something. In the power of creative imagineering, there's always some material source that can lead us to the metaphysical sensation of the mystical awareness that we're one. We're one with that conscious concerto. And so what the director reminded me, not da-da-da-da, do not force this energy. Do not think you are the energy. You're one with it, but let it flow through you. And he said, so here's how I want you to move the baton. He said, I want you to make a figure eight with a baton. So I made a figure eight with a baton. He then said, now I want you to turn that figure eight on its side and direct like this. Not da-da-da-da, but direct that energy, direct the choir, raise the voice. Oh yeah, raise the voice a little higher. And then he said, what I want you to recognize what the director brings forth from the members of the orchestra, from that unity of the orchestra, from the unity of the community of all of the instruments of the orchestra, is that harmony of heaven on earth, that oneness. And he said, that's what you're doing. You're always directing the infinite energy of the universe, of universal spirit, just us. You're always directing the universal spirit of just us, universal spirit. That's infinite. It's always present. That's what we're directing. And so what we're doing today, no, let's give up the doing. There's the forcing again, right? I'm going to do the conductor thing rather than be it. And so what we're looking at today, and what we're affirming here today, and what I invite us to firm up here today, and what I invite us to ferment here today, to ferment forth here today, is the consciousness and the concept and the awareness and that container of moving from me to we to one. That's science of mind. That's universal spirit. That's just us. That's the just us of me to we to one. That's our journey. And so, in me to we to one consciousness, where we're all one, it's not forceful, as that director reminded me. It's peaceful, and it's praiseful, and it's presenceful. It's peaceful, and it's praiseful, and it's presenceful. It's full of the presence of that universal spirit of just us. The just us of universal spirit is the just us of the me to the we to the one. It's just us. It's just us here. It's just us here. Just us of universal spirit. And so the oneness of the breath of love, if you can feel into this, if you can see into this, if you will be into this with me, I invite you to be into this. Science of mind is a participation sport, right? Not about bench warming. So I invite you to find that oneness of your breath right now. Your breath, that one universal spiritual breath, the oneness of that breath of love. And the breath of love I'm inviting you to feel into, to see into, to bring forth from the depth of your soul is that consciousness of love. So the oneness of the breath of love from the depth of our souls, breathed into the oneness, breathed into the oneness of the openness of the love in our hearts, brings forth the me to we to one consciousness of love in our lives. Of love in our lives. And that leads us to today's affirmation. Just us, just universal spirit, just unity of community, just the unity of communing with that conscious concerto of heaven's harmony, of an angel symphony, of an awakening awareness. The love is all there is. And so there's today's affirmation. I will read it once. We're talking about the just us of universal spirit, right? The just oneness of universal spirit. And so today's affirmation, there is only one life. That life is perfect. That life is Spirit's life, and that life is my life now. And I invite us to say that together, but before we say that together, I invite you to find that spirit breath that's rising from your soul. Find that spirit breath that's rising from your soul. Let it breathe into your heart, the openness of your heart, and let the openness of your heart bring forth that love in your heart into this world. So the breath of spirit from your soul to your heart to life before us. So let's read that on Spirit's breath. There is only one life. That life is perfect. That life is Spirit's life. And that life is my life now. Ministerial school for me was about affirming the breath of life. Ministerial school for me was about affirming the tone, the timelessness, and the tempestuosity of life. The changeability of life. Life on life's terms, yes? Life on life's terms. And ministerial school for me was about breathing into the space between my breaths. It was about breathing into the space between my breaths. And I found, or it found me, I think what we're looking for always finds us, so stop looking, start being, in that space between my breaths was birthed a silent knowing. Was birthed a silent knowing. And it was a silent knowing of presence, of universal spirit presence, ever growing, ever glowing, and ever going forth. It always glows, it always grows, and it always goes. You know, when I had challenges in ministerial school, and who doesn't in ministerial school? When I have challenges in life, and as Tommy said, who doesn't? I turned to Dr. Joe and I said, okay, what do I do now? And Dr. Joe would say, just keep moving. And I understand the wisdom of that now because Spirit's always moving. And so if we stop, we are not in alignment with Spirit. If I turn away from Spirit, I'm not facing Spirit's presence. I'm not facing Spirit's power. I'm not facing Spirit's purpose. It's mine to turn toward Spirit, to turn toward the source, to live in that source. And so what is ever growing and ever glowing and ever going forth in universal Spirit is new awareness and new awakenings and new aliveness and new oneness. Right back to just us, universal Spirit. We can have the next slide, Adrian. John Denver breathed into that space between his breaths. John Denver breathed into that space between his breaths. And in that space, he birthed his conscious concerto. As we go through this talk today, what's your conscious concerto? What's your conscious unity? What's your conscious oneness? What's your conscious community? You're communing with Spirit. John Denver's consciousness was a conscious concerto, which he found in the space between his breath. And what he found was the gift of song. John Denver said this of his life. I love this. This is the I am presence. This is the I am presence of just us. This is the I am presence of universal Spirit. This is the I am presence of letting the world fall away and being present with Spirit right now today. And John Denver said this. He came to that experience. He came to that expression. He came to that embodiment. He came to that emboldenment of feeling, seeing, and becoming. And he said, I am a song. He said, I live to be sung. And he said, I sing with all of my heart. John Denver sang with all of his heart, all of his soul, and all of his love. And he did it when they were unified in that community of oneness, the breath of his soul through the light of his heart to the love of this world. He unified those. That's the power. You know, we can come from our mind, we can come from our heart, we come from our soul. But when we unify those, when we connect them in that God consciousness, God on demand, that mom consciousness, we connected in that, this power of the soul through the openness of our heart into the oneness of the world. I mean, it just ignites flames of faith. It lights flames of power, presence. It lights flames that change the world. Lights flames that change the world. And so, John Denver sang with all of his heart and all of his soul and all of his love. And so what I'm seeing and what I'm being and what I'm willing to become and what I'm willing to voice and stand in the presence of and stand out and shout out and call forth right now is that the world conditions right now demand that we bring forth within each of our spiritual beings, within our bodies, within our minds, within our soul, with our mindfulness, with our peacefulness of prayer, with our mindfulness of awareness, what the world is asking for right now. And it will accept nothing less is that we bring forth, that we birth forth, that we burst forth with all of our soul, all of our heart, and all of our love. We got to bring it forth. We got to burst it forth. We got to birth it forth. Nothing less will do. Nothing less will do. And so I invite you right now to contemplate, what heart song will you let write you? You're not writing it. You're not writing the novel. You're not writing the talk. You're not writing the book. You're not writing your life story. You're open to the experience. What heart song will you let write you? What heart song will let sing you? What heart song will you let sing you? And what heart song will you let love you? And what heart song will you let live you? What heart song will write you? What heart song will you sing? What heart song will you live? And what heart song of love will you sing to the world? And if we can have the next slide. That's our theme, love song. And it's about the heart song of heaven's harmony. That was our meditation. That was our practitioner moment. That's our prayer. That's our silence. That's our power. That's our presence. That's the breath of breathing into that space between spirit's breath and birthing a whole new awareness, a whole new oneness, a whole new awakening, a whole new aliveness that will transform our individual energy into this incredible, dynamic, diverse, divine expression of the one. It's kind of fun to play in that playground and to visit that playground and to trust that playground. So in that playground of consciousness, that playground of consciousness of love's light of truth, right? In the dark shadows of the world, the playground of consciousness of that love's light of truth. The thing about love's light of truth that you've all been waiting to hear, here it is, in this very moment. The thing about love's light of truth, it's infinite, it is immortal, it is intelligent, and it's us. That infinite, immortal, intelligent light of truth is us. And what is ours to do is to shine it unshuttered forth. Unshutter that light. Unhamper that light, unbound that light. Let that light shine forth. And if we can have the next slide, Ernest Holmes writes, there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it. We can orchestrate it. We can conduct it. And we can be it. And Ernest Holmes talks about that orchestration, that conduction, that vitality, that virtuosity of Spirit's presence as, I know this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. Conducting our love song of consciousness, we have a story that speaks to the conscious concerto of love's song, that one in consciousness is a complete majority, right? That universal spirit of consciousness. And the consciousness is the story of a mother and a father and a daughter. A mom and dad get off work, they come out of the hospital, they're both in their hospital scrubs, and their daughter walks up, her sister brings her, and they're getting ready to go on vacation, they all meet. Mom, dad in their hospital garb, little daughter in the back seat with the older sister, and they start driving, they're down the road, and the little daughter goes, when are we there? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm getting anxious, I want to be there. Mom and dad say, we're not there yet, but we brought you something to help pass the time. And so the power of consciousness, right? Tommy talked about the power of our mindset. So mom and dad are doctors. So they hand the little girl in the back seat a medical bag, and they say, open your medical bag, and in the medical bag is a stethoscope. Their mindset is that their 4-year-old daughter is going to be a doctor, and they're going to put that intention in her mind. And the little girl says, well, what do I do with this? And they said, well, take the heartbeat of your doll. She takes the heartbeat of the doll and says, I'm not having fun with this. And the little girl says, I don't want to be a doctor, but I know what I want to be, Mom and Dad. I know what I want to be. In the presence of this moment, I know exactly what I want to be. And she takes the stethoscope, and she turns the round part to her mouth, and she speaks into it, and she says, "Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your orders? Can I supersize that for you?" That's spirit. That's presence. That's universal consciousness. That's the concerto of consciousness that is ever present. That's that oneness. And Ernest Holmes speaks of this wonderful magnificence, of this wonderful glory, of this wonderful goodness and grandness, that we are individual expressions of the one. Yeah? We're individual. The little daughter, I'm not going to be a doctor, I'm going to be McDonald's. That sounds like fun. So we get to choose our own expression. We each have individual voices. We each have individual choices, in that we are each individual expressions of that universal spirit. Because you are given a stethoscope doesn't mean you have to be a doctor. You can scope out a broader perspective. You can sing from a broader harmony, and you can see from a broadness beyond the blindness of injustice. Because you're given a stethoscope doesn't mean you have to be a doctor. You can scope out a broader perspective. You can sing from a broader harmony, and you can see from a broadness beyond the blindness of injustice. Can we have the next slide, Adrian? Thank you. John Lewis saw beyond the blindness of injustice on a bridge in Selma. John Lewis said, "Fight the good fight." And the good fight that John Lewis fought, and it had to be a hard fight, because it's hard today. It must have been so much harder then. And I trust it will be a little easier tomorrow. John Lewis saw beyond the blindness of injustice, and he shared this about universal spirit. He said, "You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness, hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won." John Lewis, it's already won. What science of mind say about that? What science of mind say about universal spirit? What science of mind say about prayer? What science of mind say about prayer? What science of mind say about presence? What science of mind say about the conditions of this world? What science of mind say about the power of our consciousness? In the power of our consciousness, in that concerto of consciousness, in that high watch, that conscious high watch, in which the precious, unique, and individual voice of expression of the one is not lost to the turmoil, trample, and trouble of the dark amplitude of prejudice, yet lives on, lives in, lives through as love's light of truth. John Lewis shone forth love's light of truth of the conscious concerto of heaven's heart song of knowing, once begun, already done. In science of mind, we never look back, we never go back, we move courageously, daringly, boldly forward. And if we can have the next slide, Adrian. In science of mind, we never look back, go back, or turn back. We look ahead, we move onward, we fall forward into love, light, and truth of spirit, into the conscious concerto of our heart song of love. And in prayer, and in consciousness, and in science of mind, and in life, and in our mindset. Once begun, already done. Once you begin that prayer, it's already done, because it's already known in the mind of spirit even before you pray it. That condition that you want to turn into a conscious possibility, that condition of problems that you want to turn into the consciousness of possibility. Just begin. Begin. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. You know, we never look back, we look ahead, we move forward, we fall forward into the love, light, and truth of spirit, into the conscious concerto of our heart song of love. Science of mind for me is a conscious concerto in which the voice of the rarefied one is not trampled out, yet is amplified forth in the spirit of power and love. This teaching is about the spirit of power and love. Power and love. I, Timothy, shares this. I love this from I, Timothy. For God has not given us a spirit of fear. God has given us a spirit of power and love. A spirit of power and love. And Timothy says it 3 times. A spirit of power and love. A spirit of power and love. A spirit and power and love. In which the fight is not about being right. In which the fight is not about our might. In which our fight is about the good fight. The good fight in which we are all one. The good fight of shining love's truth, unshuttered. The good fight in which there is no other. Just one of us here. The good fight of conscious knowing, and if we can have the next slide, Adrian. The good fight of conscious knowing. If you want something you never had, you have to do something you've never done. If you want something you've never had, you got to do something you've never done. If you want something you've never had, you got to do something you've never done. And that something that many of us have never done is to let our woundedness take flight on our wingedness. How many of us here have unhealed wounds? How many of us have unhealed wounds? Wow, their hands going up. Unhealed wounds that have been with us all of our lives. The doctors can't heal them. Science can't heal them. Our moms can't heal them. They do a good job when we're younger with Band-Aids. But this is not about Band-Aid consciousness. Science of mind is not about Band-Aid consciousness. Woundedness is not about healing the surface. It's about healing from the depth of love within and from that spirit breath within. And so most of us never do is to let go of our woundedness and take flight on our wingedness. If we can have the next slide, Adrian. Ruth Bader Ginsburg took flight on her wingedness, and she had much woundedness to move through. She helped her husband heal of cancer. She helped herself heal of the discrimination of being a woman. And worse yet, you think you want to be a woman? Be a powerful woman. Oh man, does that upset the apple cart? Be a powerful woman. You want to upset the status quo? Be a powerful, outspoken, intelligent, educated, possibility thinking woman. Whoa, what a concept. What a concept. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was all of that, and here's what she said. She said, fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. As we let go of our woundedness of right or might, we come to take flight upon the oneness of our love, as one with your love, as one with Spirit's love. The thing about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which brings tears to my eyes and opens my heart and allows my soul to expand and grow, is that she wanted to retire from the Supreme Court. She knew she didn't have much time to live, and she wanted to spend it with her family and her friends, just enjoying the last days of her life. She wouldn't leave the Supreme Court, and she was in pain, and she wouldn't leave the Supreme Court because she said to her last breath, she would choose to stay on that court to keep it in balance. She didn't go home and spend time with her friends and her family and watching sunset. She spent almost her last breath on the court. Powerful woman, powerful presence, powerful knowing of spirit within. How many of us would make that choice? How many of us would make that choice? And so our next slide, Adrian, if we can have it, our Science of Mind principle today that has been the unifying thread, the universal spirit through all of these people we've been talking about, through everyone here today, through me, through you, through the oneness of spirit, is spirit takes flight upon the heavenly harmony of the heart song of our life. The heart song of our life which sings forth when we allow it to sing in, as, and through us. When we allow it to shine in, as, and through us as the light of our love, we are forever that light of love. That light of love that is born in the sparks and the flares and the smithy of our soul. I'd like to see Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Wouldn't you have loved to have lunch with her? You know, who would you want to have lunch with? Man, that'd have been a lunch, right? And she was born in the sparks and the flares and the smithy of her soul. She lived and she breathed and she died and she loved and she cared and she brought equality to humanity to the best of her ability. And she was born in the sparks and the flares and the smithy of her soul. And what was born in the flares and the sparks of the smithy of her soul was a light of love that shone through her heart into the world, the light of love that is born of new thoughts, new words, new actions, new dedications. And so thinking of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and thinking of John Lewis and thinking of the great people right now in our lives today that are making great commitments, great advancements in consciousness and great oneness of living from that voice of authenticity in their soul and letting it shine through the light of love in their heart and changing the world by being powerful, by being present, by being purposeful, by being passionate. Science of Minds invites us to spark, to flare, and to dare. To spark, to flare, and to dare of our power of choice. To spark, to flare, and to dare of our love light of truth. Love's light of truth, that as we allow our material stuff to rust away. Francine got a new car. I'm not wishing you rust on your new car. Not yet. But material things rust away. My tricycle has long ago rusted away. Long ago rusted away. You know, our material stuff rusts away, and as our metaphysical light shines the way, the mystical truth that love is the way shines forth. We have to let our material stuff rust away to let the metaphysical light shine its way upon the metaphysical truth that love is the way, right? Material to metaphysical to mystical. Science of mind. Rumi says this, and we can have the next slide, Adrian. Rumi says this: there is a polish for everything that rusts, and the polish for the heart is love. The love, light, and truth of our Science of Mind teaching, which is forever, which is for me, the heart and polish of our teaching, the heart and polish of our teaching, the heart and polish and soul of our teaching, is that it lets me see. The heart and the soul and the polish of this teaching for me is that it lets me clearly see. It lets me clearly see that I am a seed. I am the seed. I am the seed of Spirit's love. I am the seed, soil of Spirit's truth, and I am the plant of Spirit's harvest. The seed, soil, and plant is the nugget and the nature and the nurture of our Science of Mind philosophy. Seed, soil, and plant is the philo of wisdom of our spiritual psychology. Philo meaning wisdom. Philosophy, the wisdom of the ages. Philo, wisdom of spiritual psychology that we are. Seed, soil, and plant is the faith of knowing beyond knowing. There you have it. Tommy talking about God, Francine talking about oneness, and conscious concerto. What are we talking about here? We're talking about that knowing beyond knowing. It's an amazing presence. And the knowing beyond knowing that I invite us to make welcome today, to plant today, to nurture today, to harvest today, to bring forth today, is that the seeds we are sowing becomes the life we are growing into a knowing beyond knowing. The seeds we are sowing becomes the life we are growing into a knowing beyond knowing, that we can take flight on heaven's harmony, we can take flight on our power of choice, and we can take flight upon love's light of truth. And so that brings us to our closing affirmation today. We have the next slide, Adrian. Our closing affirmation is about taking flight on the wings of consciousness. And so I invite us to say together, today I take flight on heaven's harmony. Today I take flight on my power of choice. And today I take flight upon love's light of truth. If no one has told you today that they love you, we love you. CSL Beaumont loves you. We love you. And if you haven't told yourself today that you love you, why haven't you? Be well. Stay conscious. Namaste. So ends our talk. And so we'll go into a prayer. And so we've been talking about that conscious concerto, and so let's bring into that consciousness the oneness of music. You know, music, my underlying source is consciousness. And let's think about some great musicians, and one great musician was Mozart. And what Mozart said, and what Mozart brought forth through the intention of holding this in his mind, was that Mozart said that he found the entire concerto in one note. he said when he found that one note, the entire concerto fell into place. And so in that one note of consciousness, that one note of the concerto of consciousness, that one note of love, that one note of life, that one note of light that we are, I invite us to bring that forth, to shine it forth, to be present with that power and that purpose and that passion that is our life, that is our heart's song, that is the harmony of heaven as one with earth. So today in prayer, I invite us to be present with that breath of our soul, that openness of our heart, that light of love that we are, and in that power and that presence and in that purpose, allow the voice, allow the harmony, allow the melody of the music of your heart song of life to sing you, to be you, to love you, to embrace you, to orchestrate you into a perfect peace, a perfect presence, a perfect knowing that love is all there ever is. And together I invite us to say, and so it is.
It was easy to blame you. My hatred was real. I just wanted you to have the pain that you made me feel. Then I found something I wanted even more. The peace of mind I had given to this war. Stepping back from my broken heart, I was amazed to see that just like me, you're seeking happiness. Just like me, you don't want to cry. In your life there has been sadness. You have felt alone. You have known despair. And out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you are just like me. Just like me. Willing to let go, to live and let live. I turn you loose. Forget and forgive. I see the whole picture. What I ask for is clear. Forgive me for using you to stay in my fear. And if you can do this, you too might find places where we agree. 'Cause just like me, you're seeking happiness. Just like me, you don't want to cry. In your life there has been sadness, and you have felt alone. You have known despair, and out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you are just like me.
How many times have I made you wrong? Have I stewed in my sorrow, my anger, my longing for justice, reparation, healing, and peace, when the only thing missing for healing was me. I see you now clearly, your struggle, your shame, my sister, my brother. We're one and the same, pushing pain on each other till we wake up and see the beauty, the freedom of our unity.
How often we all forget to look for our common ground when we can hold out. Remember, we're all here together. There's no need for blame, 'cause we're really the same. And just like me, you're seeking happiness. Just like me, you don't wanna cry. In your life there has been sadness, and you have felt alone. You have known despair, and out of that you've grown. You have dreams and needs that I can't see. How do I know these things? 'Cause you just like me. Just like me. Just like me.
And so it's our giving time, and I'd like to invite the ushers to come forward. And so I invite us to take a moment to be present in that universal spirit, in that oneness where we all come together in that community of awareness and aliveness and oneness and that vitality and that vivaciousness and that vibrancy of spirit, and to feel into that energy, to become one with that energy and to accept that energy and know that that energy, really that energy in whatever form, in financial form, in spiritual form, in loving form, whatever form it is, it's all energy. And so let's read our giving statement today in terms of energy. I give and receive my energy freely and generously with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to my energy in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed by my energy in all forms, and so it is. And if you're watching online, if you're part of our Love Stream community, thank you for being part of our spiritual community. I know we've had people watching in Sweden, and we've had people watching in Missouri and different parts of the country. So if you're online, just type in, let us know where you're watching from so we know where we're reaching out to. We can reach back out to you. And you can give by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. Or you can go to our website, cslbeaumont.org, and you can tithe there.
I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me.
And so now we're coming to the time of our circling up. We'll be doing our closing song, which we do. We stand up, we connect hand in hand. If you're comfortable, if you want to remain seated, you can do a namaste. And I want to remind you that we're having lunch afterwards, Southwestern food today. And after lunch at 12, Francine will be doing her seminar, Esteemable Act. She has books here for sale that she's published. She'll be doing it. It's a $15 love offering. So we look forward to seeing you here in the sanctuary at noon for a really remarkable presentation. All right, let's circle up.
that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are here. We will walk with each other in perfect harmony. Begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now, right now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. And so let's know together that something wonderful unfolded at CSLB today. And that something wonderful was the unity of community. And that unity of community continues with fellowship. If you're looking for prayer, don't leave anything heavy on your heart today. Our practitioners and ministers will be over here for 1 Minute Miracles, food back there, and Francine's seminar after lunch. Thank you for being here.
Between the life that we lead and the one that we pray for, now give us balance on the path, said there's no need to ask for more. Between the love that we seek and the love that's already there, now let this soften my soul and focus my stare. I said this life got me by the heart, said it's in a vice. Not too proud to go and seek advice when I know that I really ain't knowing nothing at all. I said perhaps I do. Made a transition and I finally got a clue, but I ain't got a clue on what to do. When I'm sitting and waiting and forming a plan, with taking my life in my hands, said that I am worth it. No matter what they say, I have purpose. When I'm following my dharma and I serve this, well, this is what I'm aiming for. Everything I need and all that I am grateful for. And this is where we find out how to live. Make me the trees and I swear that I'll give everything